Welcome to the first installment of Let's Hit the Easy Button. MakeMusic Cloud tips every teacher needs to know. Yes, in case you haven't heard, we are now MakeMusic Cloud. So it's important to note that MakeMusic Cloud has three basic areas of functionality for students and teachers: practice tools, feedback, and guided practice. Practice tools include the built-in metronome, loop feature, ability to speed up and slow down accompaniment, a metronome with subdivision capabilities, in addition to being able to start anywhere in a piece and focus on a few measures. The amount of content contributes to MakeMusic Cloud being the definitive practice tool, with the addition of 15,000 new titles, many of which are scores and choral content. Feedback starts with the immediate feedback a student receives when they record themselves and get MakeMusic Cloud's assessment of correct pitch and rhythms. The additional benefit of a comments box for both student and teacher amplifies the practice experience with unlimited ability to communicate through practice assignments. Guided practice is enabled through the teacher's use of templates for assignments and rubrics. Managing MakeMusic Cloud easy so teachers have more time to listen to their students' best takes and offer personalized feedback. The ability to have assignments turned in using video adds an additional opportunity to provide guided practice. The music professor videos provide additional teaching resources that reinforce what happens in the classroom. Teachers always set the goals. You know what needs to be done. You are also the expert. You're the one who is going to provide the instruction. As you create your assignments for your students, keep these three key words in the forefront of your thought as you build experiences for your students in MakeMusic Cloud. The ability to get feedback immediately will enable your students to progress faster and more advanced. The outline here provides us some general categories. Since there are so many tips, we will break all of them down into several shorter videos. The tips we have chosen to share with you today are organized into categories for general understanding. With that being said, some of these tips could easily exist in other categories as well. Let's begin looking at how MakeMusic Cloud is being used by your colleagues. General setup tips. Require students to enter your email in their profile's backup email field. This will enable you to receive the password reset when students inevitably get locked out of their accounts because of forgotten passwords. This is less of a concern now that teachers have the ability to reset passwords from within the MakeMusic Cloud application. Let's just take a look at where you would find that. Here's the ability to reset the password by the student naming you as the backup. You'll just be informed quicker and be able to get your students back into the application sooner. Decide how to split your classes. You can create one class per ensemble, one class per instrument, voice type, or even mastery level. Some teachers create classes based upon lesson groups or students seen by day of the week. Another is to group by ability level, so you're not having to create too many assignments. You have flexibility to organize MakeMusic Cloud to meet your needs. Next, knowing how your device allows microphone use is of great importance for your students getting the best audio recordings and having the best experience. To ensure that, go to the Help Center, type in microphone settings, and you will now see a list of information regarding on how to get the best setup for your microphone settings. Next tip, use the latest version of the Chrome browser on all devices except iPads where you will use Safari. Next, know how to allow Chrome camera access for video assignments. Know how to clear your browser cache history as a basic troubleshooting step. Those will be very helpful tips going forward technically. Okay, practical tips. So, needless to say, before you send your first assignment, make sure you know the application well so that you can comfortably navigate and demonstrate to your students live in class how best to accomplish deliberate practice at home. Projecting MakeMusic Cloud on the board for all to see is your best way of ensuring all your students understand the application. Having MakeMusic Cloud open in your classroom at all times provides accessibility to any material you need at a moment's notice, with no downtime. If you are teaching virtual, be sure to share your MakeMusic Cloud screen and give your students a clear understanding of how MakeMusic Cloud works and your expectations for its use as a practice partner. When students see you use MakeMusic Cloud in the classroom, they understand its importance to you and them. Watch your students using MakeMusic Cloud either in a practice room or through a video submission to make sure they know what they are doing, both with the technology and practice techniques. Explain to your students that you don't have to hit record or play in order to practice. The material on the screen is just like a printed part. For students with pulse issues, try assigning the same melody with a variety of accompaniments from different method books. Great example is Hot Cross Buns. Looping. Automatic practice loop tempo increase. Show your students how to loop specific measures of a song or exercise, then show them the increase by so many beats per minute. This is your great way to start your students off learning how to learn something slow and incrementally increase speed to develop their skill. Let's go into MakeMusic Cloud and just show you that technique. So if I have a piece of music open, okay, let's just open this. Okay, great. So it's just a solo piece. And let's say you want your students to, okay, work right here at this section. When you click on loop, the first appearance says nothing has happened. It's because we have to click set. It's always good to make sure you've highlighted where you want to start first, then click set. And now you have the handlebars and you can set your start and end points. I'm going to keep this short. The tempo starts at 81, but you want your students to start slower, so you set it to 60, I'll say, and then have it increase incrementally. So every time the loop occurs, it will go up 4 more points. Let's make that. And then when they click play, you'll hear it give the count off. Notice I have it selected so there's no space between the loop. If you want if you want to count off in between, make sure you use count off between loops. And that's probably a good idea to give your students a chance to kind of take a breath, reset, maybe think about how that last pass went. Okay, so that's a brief introduction into how to use loops and work on them with your students. Analysis. Look at analytics to get the information you need about time spent and what students are spending their time on. Here is an example of what analytics looks like. And you're looking at basically a table, and you'll see that the blue indicates that's exploration, and the purple's indicating that they worked on your assignment. I always talk to teachers and encourage them to be excited about exploration because it shows they're going beyond what you've assigned them. In this particular box now, what we're seeing is here's the assigned content, and it was opened 18 times. Very excited about that. And they also looked at some other pieces that were assigned to them. Amazing Grace was looked at 6 times, and a piece called High Voltage was looked at 5 times. So you're getting a good indication of what your students are doing in detail. Now here's the exploration content, and what this does, it tells you a lot of things. They're definitely going beyond what you've asked them to do. They're looking at other material. But look at that one piece called Christmas Bells for Smartphone or Tablet. So you notice the student opened it 24 times. That could be an indication that there's a strong interest in that piece. If you have enough of your students interested in that particular one, there's an incentive that you have that you can work with. So this is a great opportunity for you to consider maybe doing that piece or offering it up as a reward for your students. Here is a middle school band, 170 students. They practiced 352 hours in 1 month in October. And there it is. Most of the assignments were assigned, and you can see that by the purple. But those students were also going on and exploring, quite a few of them. So 352 hours of use in 1 month. This is a middle school band, somewhere in the Chicago vicinity. And the week before Christmas, they were getting ready for a Disney trip. They spent a total of 81.5 hours practicing, getting ready for that trip using MakeMusic Cloud. So analysis is a very valuable tool, and it can provide a lot of information for you and let you know what your students, actually not what, but how much time your students are spending using MakeMusic Cloud. One more practical tip. Use our newly created state lists. Titles on state-required lists are now available on our website. Use the tool to browse the 4,744 titles in MakeMusic Cloud that appear on state-required lists. Set yourself up for success by choosing your contest and festival literature from titles that are part of MakeMusic Cloud's impressive library. Here is a list now of all the states that are represented. Feel free to check it out on our website or search for a specific title. And just to be safe, confirm with your state sponsoring organization for final programming decisions. A new tool in our arsenal here. State lists. Some first assignment suggestions. Make sure your students can succeed. The comments box is probably the most important for long-term benefits for using MakeMusic Cloud. Build it into your grading ways for students to be encouraged to listen to themselves and self-evaluate. Their comments box is a great way to execute the concept. Consider creating a rubric to reward completion regardless of level of correctness. Use the easy tolerance. You all know that there are 4 tolerances in MakeMusic Cloud, easy to strict. I highly recommend that you all give those first assignments out as easy so that your students have a chance of being successful sooner with MakeMusic Cloud. As they advance, start using the other tolerances. Let your parents know how they can help their children with MakeMusic Cloud. We actually have resources on our website to inform your parents on how it will work. An informed parent is going to be a supportive parent. When the MakeMusic Cloud assessment, meaning the red note, green note, yellow note, is the primary concern, that's what you're putting your emphasis on. It's really important to use headphones, because if you don't, MakeMusic Cloud is going to hear the recording and get confused between your performance of your student and the recording, and therefore the assessment would not be accurate. So if that's really important to you, make sure you are teaching your students to use headphones when they're doing their assessments. If that MakeMusic Cloud assessment is not the focus, let's say it's tone quality, or it's articulations, you can have your students record without the headphones in. You'll hear the accompaniment in the background and can assess how are they blending with the performance backing track. Show students how and encourage them to listen to their performance before submitting. Listening is probably, next to that comments box, I think the most important thing we're teaching our students to do. Self-evaluating. Require your students to give you feedback in the comments box from day one. If you do that, it becomes a habit. It's part of our routine. It's the way we work. Make the first assignment about listening to a section of a piece. Any response is positive. So now they don't have to worry about recording, getting their instrument out, listening to an accompaniment. They're just listening to something and going to give you some feedback in the comments box. That makes the first assignment really easy. As you're getting your students started, use those video lessons. You might put together a lesson on how to assemble the clarinet. Well, there's a video lesson inside of MakeMusic Cloud. Make sure that your students know how to get to it and have them watch that at home. Make a video assignment. You now can have video assignments in MakeMusic Cloud, so the student can be performing the computer or their iPad or whatever device they're using will be recording the video, and you'll be able to see how are they holding their instrument, what's their posture like, are they using the appropriate fingering, so on. Consider making the first assignment an ungraded assignment. This is new in MakeMusic Cloud recently. So you can send an assignment out and not have a grade associated with it. You can still listen to it. You can still offer feedback, but it's not graded. Takes that pressure off. Think about starting the year with an assignment of a piece they played last year. We've all done this, but now doing it through MakeMusic Cloud, it just enables them to come in that first day and kind of be ready to go. Here's one that I love. This was shared by a music educator somewhere who said they had the students record just 30 seconds of silence. They gave them a piece but said turn the accompaniment off, record the silence, and then in the comments box they had to describe what they heard. Another great way to get them to listen. Consider creating a clapping only assignment to focus on rhythmic accuracy. Give students a listening playlist. Have them choose the ones they like and explain in detail why using the comments box. Assign a pop piece you know your student is like. Great reward. And a lot of the pop material that's in there has just as advanced concepts and rhythmic complexities as any of the works we're going to use with our students in our performance venues. So pop music's a great opportunity to get your students involved in MakeMusic Cloud. Some teachers I know actually create a scavenger hunt. They'll tell them to look for music that has the title hero in it, or the word American, or look for something that's happy, look for something that's sad, and then create a list and share that with the teacher. We mentioned this earlier, but those music professor courses, how do you get to them? They're underneath video lessons. I just highlighted that there for you. So that's how you get to them. Once you've clicked on video lessons, you're going to see a list by instrument of the potential courses available for you to have your students look at. Once a student's selected, or you've asked them to open up one of those instrument lists, now you see a list of the separate items that are available. There's also a course companion PDF, which provides the actual printed parts for what's being worked on. As you notice here, this first one's all about first the parts of the flute and how do you work with air and embouchure. What is the head joint? So they really break things down into fine details and provide instructional videos that are very high quality, great audio, and are going to reinforce what you're doing in the classroom anyway.